Welcome, everyone. Before we started recording, we were talking about how long we've been in Toastmasters, and we have two people here that have been in it for more than 20 years, and I know we have more that have arrived. Can we place in chat how many years we have been in Toastmasters? Keith, I believe you said 27 years. Is that correct? And Lou, I know you're over 20 years. Pam? What about you, Marshall?
2009 to
So let's place in chat how long we have been in Toastmasters. I see someone as early as 1 year, and I know we have a few on here over 20 years. If you can place in chat how many years you have been in Toastmasters. Why is this important for today's topic? I did not really share the topic only because I didn't want to scare anyone away. But we're going to share it now. Here we go. I am going to ask two questions. I was right. Keith has been in Toastmasters for 27 plus years. We have a Toastmaster, Robert, that is 1 year old, and we have a Toastmaster here tonight that's 27 years old, 27 plus years old. That is a large span of years. It's going to be an interesting conversation tonight, knowing that we have all of these years in between us. I would like to welcome our dignitaries first. Our first one is Pamela McCown. She is a past international director, Pam, and she's also one of our club growth chairs. Pam, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. I didn't know that was an invitation for me to speak.
Absolutely.
Hi, I'm Pamela McCown. Yes, I am working with the club growth team this year as the club extension chair and responsible for plugging in sponsors to those new clubs that are chartering. And then I pass the baton over to Troy Rocket to make sure that they are supported with club mentors. If you want to be a club sponsor, mentor, or coach, there's room for you. And you can apply by filling out the form on the D56 website on any one of the pages, the club sponsor, mentor, or club coach pages. It's the same survey. You just put in your name and when you are available to serve and what position you would like to serve. And we will contact you because we want you. Back to you, Elizabeth.
Thank you so much. Our second dignitary that I would like to acknowledge is Gail Lover. Gail Lover is also a past district director, I believe a distinguished governor. Gail, how are you?
I'm just fine, thank you. And as a district governor, I like that old name. That's old school versus district director. I go way back.
Thank you. Before we started recording, we were talking about how many years we've been in Toastmasters. We have someone as early as 1 year, and Keith Romaine is at 27 plus years. For those of you who have not added in chat, please add in chat how many years you have been in Toastmasters. Also, while you're adding how many years, please add the district that you're here from. Our past two Marketing Mondays, we've had 4 districts here for Marketing Mondays, which leads me into our next introduction, Club Growth Director, Deshaun Mosley. Deshaun, how are you? Tell us what district you're from.
Hey, thank you very much. Yes, my name is Deshaun Mosley. I'm from District 103, Chicago, Illinois. And I'm here and I'm loving it. I love Elizabeth's presentations, and so I had to be here. And I invited all of my vice president of memberships too. So you might see some of them coming to your because I think it's really important. Thank you.
Thank you so much. 1 second, Robert. We also have other dignitaries here. We have our Division P Director, Fatima Jones. Fatima, how are you?
I'm well. How about everybody else? I'm the
Good.
Division P Director. I've been in Toastmasters for about 15 years.
Thank you for your service. Brent, are you here? Or is this your recording device? Brent? Are you here? Brent is our Division Q Director. Brent, are you here?
No, that's a recording thing.
Okay. Well, have I missed anyone else? Do we have any area directors? Mammy Burks, what district, are you from District 56?
I'm from 103.
Oh, hi. Are you a district leader? Mammy?
I invite her.
Thank you, Deshaun. Is she a district leader?
No.
No,
But
okay.
she's a leader in her club.
Excellent, excellent. Marshall, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
How are you? Or you've been in club leadership before and district leadership?
Yes, I have.
Thank you for your service. Let us know what you've done.
I've been a lot of club leadership roles. Also, I was what was I? I was an area director. I think the first year that we had area directors. And then I was something else. I can't remember what other role I had.
That's okay. Did I miss anyone? Okay, we're going to move ahead to our club growth chairs. We have here tonight Troy Rocket, our club quality chair. Troy, how are you?
Doing well, Elizabeth, and hello and fellow Toastmasters. I'm Troy Rocket, your District 56 Club Quality Chair for Club Mentors. As everyone knows, our district mission is to build new clubs. And my primary role as Club Quality Chair is to support our new club mentors, how to provide an atmosphere of excellence at every meeting. We all know that this takes a bit of training for new clubs. And I urge each of you or your fellow officers to invest in the future of District 56 by volunteering to be a new club mentor. And as a bonus, receive credit for your Distinguished Toastmaster Award. Back to you, Elizabeth.
Thank you so much for your service, Troy.
Thank
Our
you.
club retention chair, David Bell, he's not here today, but runs the club coach, and I pasted his club coach page in chat. I would like to share our club growth Marketing Monday shared Google Drive. I just placed that link in chat. If you are new or you don't have it readily available, that last link is a shared Google Drive. I'll also place it again at the end of our session. If you've missed any recordings or you would like to go back and look at the recordings, everything is organized by date and theme. This next page I am adding to chat right now is our incentives page. Why is that? We have one that ends in 2 days. It's called March Madness, and that is to renew our dues early. And after that, we have 3 that's ending at this month, and that's Talk Up Toastmasters, the Open House Challenge, and the Area Director Club Visit Reports. Those are all due March 31st, which after that, it leaves only 1 club growth incentive for the rest of the year, and that is what? Beat the Clock Membership Building Award. That won't start until May 1st. That is the club incentive page. We're going to start with 2 questions. And why did I ask so many questions in the beginning? How many years have you been in Toastmasters? What leadership roles have you been in? Tonight, we're going to talk about reverse psychology. Who here can tell me off of mute or in chat, what is reverse psychology? Anyone? Reverse psychology.
Well, would that not be using an antithesis argument to get someone to do what they weren't prone to do in the first place?
Very good. Excellent. We'll leave that right there unless anyone else wants to add anything. That's a great answer. I like it. Thank you, Lou. Has anyone ever experienced or used reverse psychology?
My parents use that a lot.
Deshaun, I see your hand raised.
Yeah, my kids, I tried to use reverse psychology on them, but I don't think it worked. I think I reversed myself. Yeah, but trying to get them to do something that they wouldn't ordinarily do, I would take the side of the bad guy, and they would go like, "Whoa, that is kind of strange," and that kind of helped them. Kind of, I don't want to do that, Dad. That was great.
Aw. Okay, we're going to discuss reverse psychology marketing. First of all, let's learn a little bit about reverse psychology. Reverse psychology, it's a strategy that many people use to influence a situation to achieve their desired outcome. When our true intent is different from what you ask another person to do, you're using reverse psychology. The result is that the other person behaves in the way that you would genuinely like them to, although you didn't ask them directly. For example, how can we use this in Toastmasters? Who here has ever known someone, or it could have happened to you, where how did you end up in Toastmasters? Did you go yourself and seek it out, or did someone ask you to do a favor and join them? Yes, Robert.
Well, I was a guest continually with League City Toastmasters, and I got asked by a couple members, and you were one of them, Elizabeth and Scott Livingston, and y'all really encouraged me. And I'm doing a speech contest Saturday if y'all want to come.
Thank you so much, Robert. Well, I don't believe we had to use reverse psychology on Robert. But how do we use reverse psychology? What could be an example? I know of a few stories. I'll share one. I've heard many times where someone will ask a friend of theirs or a work colleague, will you do me a favor? Will you attend the Toastmasters meeting with me? They don't know what they don't know. They don't know how wonderful a Toastmasters meeting is. Or they might have a fear of public speaking. For example, I also know of another story where I know people who drive to a Toastmaster meeting. They're so afraid of public speaking, they cannot even leave their car. They'll just sit in the car for a while. Sometimes they drive off or they won't even show up. Some members I've heard, they finally join, but they're so afraid of speaking publicly, they won't show up to a club meeting. How can we get people to do what they don't want to do, but in a good way? We know Toastmasters, we know our club is so great. And why am I discussing this tonight? This evening, it's dedicated to a club growth director in a different district, Toastmaster Deshaun Mosley. He has asked me to help him speak about how do we get butts in the seat. Unfortunately, the date that he asked me to speak, I was triple booked, and I thought, why not speak about it tonight? And here we are. What do we do when we need people to understand the benefits of Toastmasters and they don't want to go? What about trying? This is a tip that we will learn tonight to take back to our clubs and just try it out. and it's reverse psychology marketing. And this is heavily researched. I will share an article that it's a phenomenal research article. It's peer reviewed and it's about reverse psychology. I will have this article in our shared Google Drive, but here's one of them. The psychological world, like psychologists, they use the term strategic self-anti-conformity. And this is what they use to describe reverse psychology, because a person's communicated request is in direct opposition to their actual desire. Now, the research shows that strategic self-anti-conformity is an effective method of persuasion that can also generate a sense of reassurance between individuals. What would this look like? How to use reverse psychology? For example, in one of the articles I'll share with you, when a person is resistant by nature, maybe someone who's resistant about going into a Toastmasters club, and some of you, I've heard reverse psychology when you were a child. For example, if you're a young child or an older adult, it can be helpful to employ some reverse psychology and to use reverse psychology on a person who is especially resistant. You can try a strategy known as reinforcing autonomy. It is a technique called motivational interviewing, or MI for short. And motivational interviewing, there's another peer-reviewed article. I will place it in chat. This will also be in our shared Google Drive. It's about motivational interviewing and how do we use this. Now, this technique we're going to take back to our club. It's a tip we'll try, but we can use this in our personal and professional life as well. I use it, it works most of the time. Now, when we use motivational interviewing, research suggests that it can help people work through any resistance or uncertainty that may have a negative effect on their well-being. Now, what would a negative effect for someone be in Toastmasters? It would be fear of public speaking, for example. Like the examples I shared earlier, just the thought of having to speak in public affects their well-being. How can we help people? Motivational interviewing, it's a conversational approach to persuasion. For example, what would a motivational interviewing and a conversational approach look like? I've personally heard stories, and I know Pam, who's here tonight, knows the story as well. Colleagues that are working with others, they'll ask them, can you do me a favor? We don't have a lot of people in our meeting today, and just please do me a favor. Can you just come with me to this meeting and as my friend and sit and help me out? And if you ask them to help you instead of asking them to go to the meeting because you want something from them, like join the club, sometimes it's a buffer. If we could take back to our club and ask all of our members to reach out to someone and ask their colleague or a friend or someone that they know in a conversational aspect, would you do me a favor? Would you go to this Toastmaster meeting with me? I would really like for you to be there. Will you do it for me? This has helped so many people, what they call accidental Toastmasters, and then they join and love it so much they become accidental leaders. And I've heard this story over and over and over. Why? Because we don't know what we don't know. We only know what we think we know, or we might have a real fear of public speaking, or the opposite. We feel we don't need public speaking and leadership practice. until we go into a meeting. Now, this happened to me when I saw a lunch and learn ad in my office building. I thought, oh, free lunch, 1 hour, never been to a Toastmasters meeting. I'm going to check it out. I did not know what it was all about. Some people really don't know. I was one of them. Would anyone, before I go on to the next part, share, have they been an accidental Toastmaster? Were you asked to go to a club meeting as a friend? Anyone here? Or did we all just say, I want to be part of Toastmasters? Anyone? Everyone wanted to be part of Toastmasters. That's great.
No. It took me a year and a half to join Toastmasters. I was coming to the meetings, and I'm a trainer, but I was coming to the meetings and I don't need this stuff. And it took me a year and a half, but I was taking videos and helping with the recordings and doing all the stuff. But I just want to do table topics. It's crazy. It's stupid. And finally, I got the bug. And when I got the bug, it was all over. Yeah. But I just have one other tale, though. There's another tale. I always have tales, right? But when I was a kid, girls scared me. Guys, you know what I mean. When you're 6 and 7 years old, they just frighten you, don't they? Just like, oh man, they have so much charisma and stuff. So I was a girl that I really liked. And I was determined I was going to hit on her, talk to her. I'm in this 5th grade or whatever. So I took the little heart you get from Valentine's Day, and I figured out in my mind that if I took this little heart and put it underneath my tongue, that would give me the strength to go in there and talk to her. And it worked. I put the little piece of candy underneath my tongue, and I believed that would give me the courage. Did it give me the courage? Yes, it did. Did she say anything to me? No, she didn't, but it gave me the courage. And I think that sometimes that we need that little thing, is that little candy heart. Some people need that. If you can hold on to a rabbit's foot or a piece of a paper or a pencil, this is your courage. Just hold on that. As long as you got that in your hand, you'll do a good speech. If they believe you, they'll do a good speech.
Excellent. Thank you so much for sharing. Would anyone else like to share anything? Have any of you been an accidental Toastmaster? Accidental volunteer leader? Well, here is an example of reverse psychology. And when I share this story, let's see how we can interpret this into Toastmasters. Instead of saying, I really think you should start taking care of yourself, or I really think you should join Toastmasters, I really think you should start taking care of yourself, you could try, only you know what's best for you. If you could make changes to your lifestyle that would help you feel better and have more energy, what might those be? The result is that you've empowered the person you're speaking with to make their own choices. You've got them thinking about what they think might be good for them, and you've reinforced their autonomy. Now, how could we use this? So in this instance, a motivational interviewing approach to reverse psychology is more helpful than simply telling a person they should just eat whatever they want and that they don't need to exercise. Just like when we're trying to get butts in the chairs or anything you want to call it, when instead of telling someone that they should join Toastmasters, instead of saying you should do this and you should do that, what if we use or try reverse psychology? For example, I saw this in action. I was in an out-of-town conference with my husband. It was his conference. It was the PCIC EEE in Denver in October. We went in and out of all day presentations, listening to speakers. And then at night, they have these vendor rooms and it's so much fun. But during the day, we're listening to all these speakers. And then afterwards, we have cocktail hour and dinners and a lot of fun rooms. Well, as we are going into all these different presentations, I'm listening and thinking, oh, they really need Toastmasters. How much more dynamic and powerful their presentation could be if they only knew the power of a Toastmasters club. But do they know about Toastmasters? Afterwards, in the cocktail hour, I made it a point to walk around the room and speak to as many of the presenters and the speakers I could. And I used reverse psychology. And during that evening, I signed up so many different people to go and try Toastmasters in a variety of states and cities. And they love it. Not only that, this one gentleman who spoke and tried out a club, he shared that his son is in law school and now he's having him join a Toastmasters club. Once we start a conversation with someone and going to them and say, you know, I really think you should practice public speaking in Toastmasters. You could try, you know, how did you feel about your speech or your presentation? And we are our worst critic. And you just listen. You listen to them share their own critique. And we could say back, well, you know, only you know how you feel about your presentation. And if you could make changes to make you feel you speak better, present better, what do you think that could be? Oh, I don't know. I've watched some YouTube videos. I don't have time to go and take this big class. Well, have you thought about a club called a nonprofit organization called Toastmasters? You can go as often as you'd like, and they have a digital program that you can take anytime. And then you have them thinking about this, and maybe they have heard of Toastmasters, maybe they haven't, or maybe they have heard about it, but they really don't know what it's about. And we can use this motivational interviewing technique to have them try out a Toastmasters club and just see what they think. You can also ask a friend or a colleague to help you. That's another form of wonderful reverse psychology. People like to feel wanted and needed. And if you ask someone to help you, instead of you telling them that you want to help them, you can reverse it and say, Troy, I need your help. Will you help me by attending one of my Toastmasters meetings? We're low on members today, and I really need your help. Would you go with me today? And if he has time, it's only an hour. It's either in person or on Zoom, and they can choose, but maybe that's how we can approach people instead of, you really should join Toastmasters. We can start asking, would you help me? Would you be interested in joining me? Instead of you should do this and you should do that. And it's a very powerful way of asking someone, and it runs and spills into when we give feedback in speeches. When we give feedback, instead of you should have done this, you should have done that, I heard you do this, we reverse it in our feedback of our speeches when we're the evaluator, and we say, you know, I heard this, I saw that, and I felt this. And they're more open to your feedback. Maybe we can go back to our clubs and ask people to join us in our meetings or use that motivational interviewing technique. And there's so much more that I can get into, but it's 8:31, and I promise I will add all of these peer-reviewed articles of all this wonderful research of how to use positive reverse psychology in helping our friends and colleagues that we know what's good for them, but they don't yet. And maybe we can try some reverse psychology with motivational interviewing to help our clubs get more, what, Deshaun, butts in the seats of what he called it when he asked me, can you speak in our district? We need more butts in the seats. Well, let's try it. Let's try some reverse psychology, some reverse marketing here, and let's see what happens. I would love to for you to let me know how it worked. And that is our challenge this week. Trying some reverse psychology of obtaining some new guests. Robert, I see you have a question.
Hey, Fatima, did I send you, so I sent you both of the forms, right?
Robert,
that-
we're going to close out in a minute, and afterwards I can keep it open for you to discuss that. I wanted to ask if anyone here could share any takeaways before we stop the recording. Lou, Fatima, Gail.
Yeah, I could maybe give a real brief example of reverse psychology. Wait a minute, then it's just regular psychology, isn't it? Anyway, that's rhetoric. I was in NMA and we had a guest paid speaker coming to our club meeting, and he needed a ride after the presentation to the airport, drove him down to Hobby Airport, and just making some chit chat with him. And I asked him, how did he get involved in speaking in these engagements? And basically, what did he do to train up for this? He says, well, you could go a whole bunch of routes, but he recommended Toastmasters. And I was not in Toastmasters at the time, of course. And I said, really, I've heard of it, because he asked me what I knew. And I said, basically just, I know of it. And he said, you could get the practice, or you could go to take a college course, but that's good for a semester. And then where are you after that? You revert back to odds and ums like I did at our last Toastmaster meeting. Anyway, the point I'm making is that I think that resonated with me, him recommending Toastmasters. He had belonged to it. I don't know if he was in Toastmasters at the time, but it resonated with me, and I felt like I should look into it. And I started then afterwards going to different club meetings to see which one fit my persona. Anyway, but that was his psychological impact on me in terms of getting me in Toastmasters.
Interesting. Very nice. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else? What is your takeaway? Mammy, Marshall, Keith, Lane, Isaac, Gail, Fatima?
I think this is long. I think I'm going to use that to try to get some people to come to attend our meeting, because sometimes I tell them, I know two of my nephews, they are in the sales. And I try to tell them to join. They are overseas, Singapore. I try to tell them, you need to go to a Toastmaster meeting, try to brush out your public speaking. But it never show, okay? Even if I follow up, they say, yeah, I would do it. But I think I could invite them to join our, we are still, my club is still doing the Zoom. So I think I can see whether they can find out from our meeting, because I don't think they know what is that. Sometimes when you talk to them, they say, yeah. I did invite a friend and colleague to my meeting before. She attended 2 meetings and then she quit. She said that is torture. But I think if I turn around saying that, hey, come on, just sit with me, okay? That way, that would ease out her fear. But she quit because she said that that was torture. So 2 meetings she quit. So
I hear what you're saying. We can do two things. You can ask them to help you attend a meeting because you need them to be there for you, to support you. And then also you can empower your nephews to make their own choices by get them thinking about what they think might be good for them. And there you have that reinforced autonomy. I hear that you've said you should go to this to help you with your public speaking, but what if we reverse it?
yeah, that's
And-
what I was thinking. Tonight we learn about using that, asking them to help to attend our meeting.
Right. Thank you. Anyone else?
I'll say something. I like the fact that when you said ask them to come, ask them out, because how I got in Toastmaster was I had a business and I was trying to learn how to do presentations, and it was completely different than what I thought it was going to be. So I'm glad I joined, but I have invited people to our club and I asked them to come and support me, and I definitely got the support. And I just asked them as a friend, could you come hear me speak? And people be anxious to hear what you have to say. So they do come out. And I just got 2 or 3 approaches that I can do, but I like something that I heard tonight. I got a takeaway. I'm just start asking them and, just have a regular conversation rather than say, can you join Toastmasters? Come on over to see what it's like. And they may or may not come. So I'm just asking a different way. So I think that's going to really help me.
Thank you, Mammy. Okay. Thank you for sharing, Gail.
Yes, I would, the way I came into Toastmaster, I wouldn't suggest it to anyone. I was strong-armed. I heard about Toastmasters, and the room they were meeting in had glass windows. And someone caught me peeping in and listening, and she ran out and I couldn't get away fast enough. And because it was an older woman, I didn't give her a lot of hassle. And she talked me all the way back to the room and pulled the chair up and said, sit down, listen. And she sat down beside me, even though that wasn't her seat. And from that point on, I was saying, oh, I'm not coming back. Oh, they're having too much fun here. And I've been coming back ever since. I wouldn't suggest strong arming, but this woman did this, and she talked me into walking back to the room with her, going into the room and sitting down. That really piqued my curiosity. So it wasn't on purpose. It was not planned at all. I was more or less strong-armed. So you have some very courageous Toastmasters from way back when.
Thank you for sharing. Anyone else? Will you try some reverse psychology, motivational interviewing to get some more members in your club? How many people do you know that has never attended a Toastmasters meeting? I know many. And I'm at fault. I have said many, many times, you really should go with me, or you really should find a Toastmasters club. You should. And I need to stop. I am practicing what I preach, and I will begin doing the motivational interviewing approach to reverse psychology. It works. It empowers them to make their own choices. Also, we can ask them to help us. I'm giving a speech today. Would you be there for me? Would you let me know what you think? And those that have never been to a Toastmasters club, like Gail, they're having too much fun. Or Deshaun, wow, I like these table topics. I'm going back. You don't know. It's a great way to think about having some more guests and turning them into members by empowering them to make their own choices, but using that reverse psychology instead of saying you should. Anything else before we wrap up? Fatima, Troy, Pam,
Great
Marshall.
information. I enjoyed it. I was using reverse psychology on my children for years and years, and I really didn't know that I was doing something. I took psychology a long time ago. My mother did that to me, but it's good to know that it's practical, how I can really use it in other areas. What I do though is, we talked about, whenever I give a speech, I invite all of my friends and family to come and hear my speech, and of course they'll come. And then I've had a couple to join.
Wow. See?
Yeah.
Excellent, Fatima. You just gave a wonderful testimonial how reverse psychology works. Not one, but two. You said a couple have joined. Excellent. There it is.
I've had about 5 to join.
Wow.
Yeah, more than that. And I have about 3 that are really active now. So.
And it's all because what?
I invited them to come and hear me speak.
There you go.
Mhm.
What if we all tried that this week in our clubs? It's a 2-for-1. It's killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Let's give a speech in our club and ask all of our friends, phone, text, email, post it on social media. I'm giving a speech. I need you there. Will you help me? Support me in this speech. And let's see how many people show up. Yes, Pam.
I was listening to that, and it reminded me of a lady that would, when she would do a speech, she would invite all kinds of people to hear her speech and vote for her so she would win Best Speaker. So if you want to win Best Speaker, invite your own audience and tell them to vote for you.
Well, okay.
And then maybe they'll join the club after that. But that was just for Louis Cialetti. I wanted him to hear that. I love your smile, Lou.
Grazie.
Okay, anyone else? Are we going to take that challenge? Do you accept the challenge?
Yeah.
Yay, I heard
Accept
yes.
the challenge.
Raise your hand, say yes, come off of
Yes.
mute. We're going to try some reverse psychology and motivational interviewing this week and spread it like wildfire and ask all of our members to do the same. Let's all sign up for a speech. Ask all of our family, friends, colleagues, will you help me? I really need your support. Or that motivational interviewing, instead of, I really think you should, we're going to say, only you really know, but how did you feel about that presentation I just heard you give? That's what I did in that conference. And start talking to them that way. It's called motivational interviewing, and find out what they thought. And then you can say, well, that would, going into a Toastmasters meeting, it might help you feel better, and you might have better presentation skills. What do you think? Reverse it. I'll send you so many different scripts and examples of how to do the motivational interviewing and how to use reverse psychology in our shared Google Drive. Those 2 articles I placed in chat give you a great start of some reading material, and I'll add so much more. Thank you for those that are here from different districts. I know Anita, what district are you from?
I am from District 115.
Excellent. And Deshaun, you're at 160. 160.
I'm at 103. 103.
103 in Chicago. And I know Gail's
Chicago.
representing
I'm
California.
at 103 too.
And
Mamie's from 103.
And Mamie, you're also right.
Yes.
Excellent.
And I have a club in Arizona too, so.
Oh, very nice. Okay, maybe we'll all start using a little motivational interviewing and reverse psychology to help increase our club members. Good night, everyone. Thank you all for being here. We'll see you next Monday. Give me a few minutes to upload everything in our Google Drive, and we'll see you next week. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, Deshaun, for inviting me.
No problem. I'm glad you came.
Thank you,
Elizabeth, the things you said you put in chat, are they going to be coming with the other information?
Yes.
or-
Mhm.
Okay, because I didn't get chat. Okay.
Okay.
I didn't either.
Yeah, ask Anita, what area are you in? Where's your club?
Me?
Anita? Anita, yes,
Oh, my club is in Las Vegas,
Las Vegas, okay.
Nevada 115, and I'm originally